am I gonna do when I get a little excited?
So, is my bipolar just a sleeping disorder? I think so. Yeah, for a lot of reasons. Because if you get sleep, you probably aren't manic. You're not on the higher side. You're not hypomanic. You're not manic. And I think with bipolar, primarily, that's the side of bipolar that I talk about. Or that's the side of bipolar that I'm currently most familiar with. Bipolar also has the depressive side. For bipolar, you can kind of categorize the depressive side of bipolar into the category of depressive disorder, depression. So for me, is bipolar a sleeping disorder? Sure. Kanye West, he identifies with the diagnosis of bipolar as a sleeping disorder. I think he said that publicly.
So he said that I actually wasn't bipolar. I had sleep deprivation, which could cause dementia 10 to 20 years from now, where I wouldn't even remember my son's name. So all this power that I got, and I'm taking my son to the Sox game and all that, I wouldn't be able to remember his name from a misdiagnosis.
So that's his frame of reference, that he kind of understands himself, the most. It's important here that you let people be the experts in their own mental health, because they are. We are the experts of our own mental health. I mean, there's just no getting around it. Before you had a mental illness, you were a survivor. You had skills to deal with whatever was coming your way. Now that you have a diagnosis, people that do, then they can kind of work within that framework, to see kind of what they need best and kind of how they operate. For me, if I get sleep, I have a pretty good control over the challenges of bipolar. So the challenges of bipolar are managing mania, staying alive. High manias cause a distortion of reality. I have schizoaffective disorder, so I am on a high mania. I will hallucinate. I will hallucinate smell. I will hallucinate vision very easily. So smell and vision get hallucinated very easily. I don't hallucinate sound, as much as someone with a straight diagnosis of schizophrenia. But with all these hallucinations come the challenges, extra challenges of managing through that. So it's just nice to know that, hey, if you get sleep, you really don't have to deal with those. Now, if I got a common cold, or I am running a little bit hotter, still got sleep underneath me, I might have subtle hallucinations. I might start smelling things that aren't there, getting that. And it's an instantaneous, trigger of oh, got it. It's a little bit of a red flag, but what's super nice is to actually have hallucinatory symptoms when they're kind of benign. You're just having a nice day, or you're not in a situation where you're low on sleep, you're super stressed, things are kind of in a normal routine. I've appreciated some of those hallucinations, because then you can look at them from a different framework. You can look at them from a framework of that's not a big deal. And that's the most important thing about hallucinations. It's not the fact that you're having them. That's not really a big deal. It's your reaction to them. And it's instantaneous. Like a hallucination can instantly put a thought of paranoia into your mind. It just does. You're dreaming inside out. So when you dream, you have no... Yeah, so this is the best way to explain it. And this is what I hope to do with a lot of my other videos, is to really bring in everyone, help people with their own mental illness and have a better framework for them. And for people that are just curious or have family members with schizophrenia, affective disorder, bipolar, anxiety, depression, trauma, PTSD, that they can have a better reference frame to understand family members or themselves. And I think the best way to do that is to have similarities. So even for you, you can say hey, I don't have severe depression. I don't have that as a diagnosis, but it's relatable. It's more than that. It's not even just relatable, but it's useful, because everyone has depressive states in their life. They can use the same tactics, or the depressive symptoms have the same effect on them, identical as someone with a major depressive disorder. I get it that hallucinations are harder to explain. I get it, they get painted into a picture that's just I mean, the second that you would have a hallucination, you should be locked up in a white room in a hospital. And sadly, we are not that far away from, I mean, it takes a century for change to happen on any fronts of major adversity. Like, we all know that. It's sad that that takes so long for equality across the board. So stigma is just another form of discrimination. That's a brand new message. That stigma is just a form of discrimination. So here's one thing that you guys can do that, even I try to break down my layers of stigma. So the next time you're, thinking about taking some stuff to the thrift store, like the Goodwill, like, oh, that feels safe, that building looks new, and, I can just drive in and drop my stuff off, and I'd never go inside, but, well, before you take your stuff to the Goodwill, go down to your local homeless shelter and take that stuff down to a homeless shelter. Oh, they will love you. I mean, they can use anything, clothes especially, just anything. I mean, anything. Take it there. If they don't want it, then go to the Goodwill, but make 2 stops. And you'll realize, oh, yeah, I have a lot of stigma against, homeless. I'm not able to put myself, I don't want to be around that. It's too much. Well, the fact that you care so much about them being homeless, when you go to a homeless shelter, they don't care that you're not homeless. See? Like, you care that they are homeless. They don't care that you're not homeless. They don't. They're more stigma-free, potentially, than I was. It took me a long time to get the courage to be like, oh, I feel so good to take my food to, like, a food share. We have food share here in Helena, like a food bank. Oh, that's a safe place. It's just like, take it right to the homeless shelter. Walk through the door. It breaks down so many different walls. It's something that's easy to do. And it's just necessary. Stopping stigma stops discrimination. Hallucinations, yeah, we're very discriminated against. We have now state hospitals. We don't have asylums. We've come a long way, but still, the state hospitals can be like a threat to we'll put you in the state hospital. Or if you go to the state hospital, hopefully for at least half, they enjoyed their experience, whether they were there for a couple months or a year. That can be the case. I just know that even for people with mental illness, we're unsure. Oh, is that going to be a good environment? Because you kind of have 2 things at play. Yeah, the medicines aren't the best. If the medicines were the best, you would just have one. Like, if you got a headache, you take aspirin. Done. No one needs to come up with any more medicines for headaches. You kind of get it. There's a lot of mental health medicines. You understand that, and you're like, oh, so like one part of the system isn't the best maybe, and then so you extrapolate. Well, the state hospital is probably not going to be the best. And then so you can get worried, you can discriminate against these services. So I guess it's good to hear other people that have used the services and maybe had a good experience, and then you can, ask, oh, why did you have a good experience? Or, how can I have a good experience? What should I expect? Expectations are key to reducing your discrimination. Like, what do I expect when I donate to a homeless shelter? Like, happy people that are happy that you're actually stopped in. They know that only a few people get to do that. So, you got something that they appreciate. That's what's going to happen.